stop. If you have someone in your life over 70 who walks every single day because they think it's keeping them healthy, you need to hear this right now. What I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've been told about aging and exercise. And if you're not careful, that daily walking routine could be quietly stealing years from your loved one's life. I know that sounds crazy. I know you're probably thinking, walking is good for you. How could it be harmful? But stay with me for the next few minutes, because what you're about to discover could change everything you think you know about caring for someone over 70. Look, I get it. You want the absolute best for the people you love. You've probably encouraged your mom, your dad, your grandparents to stay active and keep moving. And that advice comes from a beautiful place. It comes from love. It comes from wanting them to live longer, healthier lives. But here's the thing nobody talks about. After 70, your body isn't the same machine it was at 50 or even 60. The rules change. And if you don't know these new rules, you could be accidentally pushing someone you care about toward the very problems you're trying to prevent. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 5 warning signs that walking is actually aging your loved one faster. These aren't vague symptoms. These are specific, measurable changes that most families completely miss until it's too late. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why it happens, and most importantly, what to do instead. All right, let's talk about what's really happening when someone over 70 exercises too much. And I'm going to start with the most dangerous sign that almost everyone ignores. Key sign number 1, persistent fatigue. Picture this. Your mom used to be energetic. She'd cook, clean, maybe even work in the garden after her morning walk. But lately, after her daily 3 or 4 mile walk, she comes home completely drained. She needs to rest for hours. Maybe she's even napping more during the day. You probably think, well, she's getting older. Of course she's more tired. But what if I told you that exhaustion after exercise isn't normal aging? It's a warning sign that her body can't recover from what she's putting it through. Here's what's actually happening inside her body. After age 70, the little powerhouses in your cells, called mitochondria, start working less efficiently. Think of them like tiny engines that create energy. When you were young, these engines could handle intense demands and bounce back quickly. But after 70, they need more time to recover. When your loved one pushes through that long walk every day, those cellular engines are working overtime. And when they can't keep up, your body starts breaking down its own muscle tissue for energy. You're literally aging faster, not slower. Most families see this exhaustion and think, she just needs to build up her stamina. So they encourage more walking, longer walks, pushing through the fatigue. But that's like flooring the gas pedal when your engine is already overheating. Instead, here's what actually works. Shorter, gentler walks. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes with a few rest stops. The goal isn't to exhaust your loved one. It's to energize them. After the right amount of movement, they should feel refreshed, not depleted. Pay attention to this. If someone you care about is consistently exhausted after exercise, that's your first red flag. Their body is telling you the intensity is too much. But exhaustion isn't the only warning sign. There's another one that's even more dangerous, and it's something most people never connect to exercise. Key sign number 2, balance problems. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 73, and he was so proud of his daily walking routine. 3 miles every morning, rain or shine. His family thought it was amazing, until they started noticing he was stumbling more often. Little trips here and there, especially after his walks. Dad's just getting clumsier, his daughter thought. It's part of getting older, but when Robert fell in his driveway one morning and broke his wrist, they realized something was seriously wrong. Here's the scary truth. When you over-exercise after 70, you're not improving your balance. You're actually making it worse. Your nervous system needs energy to keep you steady on your feet. It's constantly making tiny adjustments to keep you upright. But when you exhaust your system with too much walking, there's no energy left for those crucial balance adjustments. Think about it this way. When you're really tired, do you feel more coordinated or less coordinated? Less, right? The same thing happens to your elderly loved ones, except their baseline energy is already lower. Most people think that walking more will prevent falls. And yes, some movement is crucial for maintaining balance. But there's a sweet spot. Push beyond that spot, and you're actually training your loved one to be unsteady when they're tired, which is exactly when falls happen. The solution? Focus on quality over quantity. Short walks combined with simple balance exercises Have them practice standing on one foot for just a few seconds, or walking heel to toe for a few steps. These targeted movements do more for fall prevention than miles of exhausting walks. If you're still with me and this is making sense, comment 1 below. If you think I'm completely wrong about this, also comment 1, because I want to hear from everyone. This information could literally prevent someone you love from ending up in the hospital. And here's the thing that really breaks my heart. Most families don't realize that what they think is helping might actually be the cause of these balance problems. Key sign number 3, joint pain and stiffness. This one hits close to home for me. I've seen too many families deal with this, and it's heartbreaking every single time. Meet Eleanor. At 75, she could garden for hours. She loved being outside, tending to her flowers, feeling useful and active. Then her doctor suggested she start a serious walking program to stay healthy. So she did, every day pushing herself further and further. Within 6 months, her knees and hips were constantly aching. She couldn't garden anymore. She couldn't even walk up the stairs without pain. Her doctor said it was just arthritis getting worse, but here's what nobody told her. After 70, your joints produce less of the fluid that keeps them moving smoothly. It's like oil in a car engine. Without enough of it, parts start grinding against each other. When you do too much high-impact exercise, you're using up that precious joint fluid faster than your body can replace it. Eleanor's walking program wasn't preventing joint problems, it was accelerating them. She was wearing out her joints faster than they could repair themselves. The heartbreaking part, when she finally reduced her walking to gentle short strolls, her pain significantly decreased. She could garden again. She could climb stairs again. All because she stopped doing what everyone told her was good for her. Here's what most people get wrong. They think the no pain, no gain mentality applies at every age. But after 70, joint pain isn't something to push through. It's your body's alarm system telling you to back off. If your loved one is experiencing new or increased joint pain since starting an exercise routine, that's not their body getting used to it. That's damage happening in real time. The alternative? Gentle movement on softer surfaces. Grass instead of concrete. Dirt paths instead of sidewalks. Swimming or water walking if possible. Movement that supports the joints instead of pounding them into submission. But there's another sign that's even more subtle, and most families never connect it to exercise. Key sign number 4, sleep problems. Henry was 78 when he decided to get serious about his health. He started walking 4 miles every morning. His family was so proud of him. But within a few weeks, Henry was lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling for hours despite feeling physically exhausted. His family assumed it was just insomnia that comes with age. But the timing wasn't a coincidence. Here's what was happening. Excessive exercise triggers stress hormones, especially cortisol. In younger people, these hormones settle down quickly after exercise. But after 70, your hormonal system recovers much more slowly. So Henry was going to bed with elevated stress hormones still coursing through his system. And here's the cruel irony. Poor sleep accelerates aging faster than almost anything else. So Henry's healthy walking routine was creating sleep problems that were making him age faster, not slower. Think about someone you know who doesn't sleep well. Do they look younger or older than their age? Older, right? That's because sleep is when your body repairs itself. Without quality sleep, all the walking in the world won't keep you young. Most people think that more exercise automatically leads to better sleep. But in elderly individuals, especially later in the day, excessive exercise can have the opposite effect. The solution is surprisingly simple. Keep walks gentle and finish them several hours before bedtime. Evenings should be about winding down, not ramping up. If your loved one has started having sleep problems since beginning an exercise routine, that's your body's way of saying the intensity is too much. But there's one more sign that might be the most dangerous of all, and it's one that families often celebrate instead of worry about. Key sign number 5, loss of appetite and weight loss. Maria's family was thrilled when she started her walking program at 73. They were even more thrilled when she started losing weight. Finally, they thought, Mom is getting healthy. But within a few months, Maria was eating less and less. The weight was falling off, but she seemed weaker, not stronger. Her clothes hung loose on her shrinking frame. Her family kept celebrating the weight loss until her doctor delivered shocking news. Maria was losing muscle mass, not fat. And muscle loss after 70 is one of the most dangerous things that can happen. Here's what nobody talks about. Excessive exercise can actually suppress appetite in older adults. Their metabolism is already slowing down, and when you add intense exercise on top of that, it creates a dangerous cycle. More energy going out, less fuel going in. The result? Their body starts eating its own muscle tissue for energy. And muscle loss, not weight gain, is what leads to frailty, falls, and loss of independence. Maria's family thought they were helping her stay healthy, but they were accidentally pushing her toward the very frailty they were trying to prevent. Here's the truth that might shock you. Carrying a few extra pounds after 70 is actually protective. It's muscle loss you need to worry about, not weight loss. When an elderly person loses weight rapidly, especially if they're exercising intensively, that's often muscle disappearing. If your loved one has lost their appetite or is losing weight since starting an exercise program, that's not success. That's a warning sign that their body can't handle the demands being placed on it. The solution? Sometimes less exercise is more beneficial. Focus on maintaining nutritional intake and gentle movement that doesn't suppress appetite. If you're still here learning about these critical warning signs, comment 2 below. Your engagement tells me this information is reaching the families who desperately need to hear it. And if you know someone who's pushing their elderly loved one to exercise more without knowing these risks, please share this video with them. You could prevent unnecessary suffering. I know what you might be feeling right now. Maybe you're overwhelmed. Maybe you're scared because you recognize some of these signs in someone you love. Maybe you're angry because you feel like you've been given bad advice. All of those feelings are completely valid. Watching someone you love age is one of the hardest things we go through as human beings. And it's natural to want to fight it, to push back against time, to do everything possible to keep them strong and independent. But here's what I want you to understand. Loving someone doesn't always mean pushing them to do more. Sometimes it means giving them permission to do less. Sometimes it means protecting them from well-meaning advice that could actually harm them. Your elderly loved one doesn't need to prove their strength to anyone. They don't need to run marathons or walk for miles to have value. They've already proven themselves over decades of life. Now they need movement that honors where their body is today, not where it used to be. This isn't about giving up or being lazy. This is about being wise. This is about understanding that the body that carried them through 70, 80, or 90 years of life deserves to be treated with respect and gentleness. If you've recognized any of these signs in someone you care about, please don't wait. Have that gentle conversation. Maybe it's time to modify their routine. Maybe it's time to prioritize quality of life over quantity of exercise. Remember, aging gracefully isn't about maintaining the same activity level you had at 30 or 50. It's about adapting wisely. It's about listening to your body's wisdom. It's about choosing activities that add energy to your life, not drain it. And there's something beautiful about that. There's profound wisdom in knowing when to push and when to rest. Your elderly loved ones have earned the right to move at their own pace. Okay, let's recap those 5 critical warning signs: persistent fatigue after walking, balance problems during or after exercise, increased joint pain, sleep disruption, and appetite or weight changes. If your elderly loved one is experiencing any of these, their walking routine might be too intense for their body right now. Now, I know you might be thinking, okay, but what should they do instead? That's exactly what I'm covering in my next video. I'll share specific, gentle exercise alternatives that actually support healthy aging, movements that energize instead of exhaust, that strengthen instead of strain. You're not going to want to miss those techniques, because they could literally add years of quality life for someone you love. But here's what I need from you right now. Comment below and tell me, have you noticed any of these warning signs in an elderly loved one? Which one stood out to you the most? Your sharing could help another family recognize these patterns before it becomes a serious problem. And if this video has opened your eyes to something you hadn't considered before, comment 3. If you think I'm being too cautious and elderly people should just push through discomfort, comment 3 as well. I genuinely want to hear from everyone, because these conversations can literally save lives. Look, if you care about an elderly family member or friend, you cannot afford to miss the information I share on this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now, not later, when you remember, not next week. But right now, the next video I release could prevent a fall, a hospitalization, or worse. And please, don't let guilt or politeness stop you from sharing this information. If you know someone who's pushing their elderly loved one to stay active without understanding these risks, send them this video. You could be the person who prevents unnecessary suffering. You could be the person who helps someone they love age with dignity instead of struggle. Your elderly loved ones are incredibly lucky to have someone who takes the time to learn about their changing needs. That says everything about who you are as a person. Stay informed, stay compassionate, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about what to do instead of excessive walking. Trust me, you're going to love these gentle alternatives. Until then, take care of each other. And remember, sometimes the most loving thing we can do is encourage someone to slow down, not speed up.